Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today's card is made with the Home and Garden bundle with the Home and Garden stamp set and the garden dies. You can find this in the January through June 22 Stampin' Up catalog, and this is just a cute take on cutting your designer series paper that you have like a neat little different cut. Guys love that, especially dads, you know. And so what we're going to do is just show you, first of all, I made a card a while back with the Hydrangea Haven, which is carrying over. Isn't that awesome? And on this one I had white on the inside, and then I embossed a piece here, and this piece was cut down a little bit smaller, and you can see a video on this one. But this one I decided to just do designer series paper and open it up. Really easy to do. Let me show you how. So we're going to be using basic gray. All of the materials and the colors and the tools, stamp sets, dies that I use are always in the YouTube description underneath the YouTube video, but also there's a link that says visit my blog here, a link, and it takes you over to CindyLeeBDesigns.com, and there you can find additional photos and little tidbits there for you. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I like to post on Wednesdays, and over on my blog, Monday, Wednesday, Friday blog posts. So here we go. We're going to start with a basic gray. Doesn't the pink look good with the basic gray? So the basic gray we're starting out with is an 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4, and that's going to give us a portrait size card. A portrait, think of a portrait as like a photo frame you're looking at. A landscape is like a vast, like it's horizontal, like the landscape you're looking at. Now we've scored this 8.5 by 5.5 at 4 1/4, and what we're going to want to do is get that diagonal cut on the front. So what we're going to do is pull out our cutting tool, and I'm going to take right at the score line. I am going to put that score line right in the cutting groove. And then I'm going to take, well, actually I'm going to pull it this way. I'm going to take the point. Now, you're looking at it this way. You have the score line here in the middle, and this is the bottom right. So we're going to take the bottom right of the front of our card and put it in the groove. And then we're going to put the score line top in the groove. Okay, so just make sure they're both in the groove, because sometimes when you move one, the other one moves. I think I'm going to be okay to go right at the top of here, and I'm going to use my dark cutting blade and cut off that triangle there. Okay, so what we did is we got this piece, the top piece, over, and oh, it's a nice clean cut. Then we're going to just fold this way. So that is going to be our card base. Now we're going to work on the inside of the card right now. You're going to have a piece of designer series paper, whatever you choose to do. For this card, I am using, where is it? The Home and Garden. But what I did is I liked the wood grain from the Heart and Home designer series paper. That's the one that has the real pretty flowers in the honeybee home bundle, which is carrying over, but the paper isn't. And every piece in that 12 by 12 pack of 12 pieces, every piece on the back has a gray wood grain. Valuable to me. I love it. So what we're going to do is cut this. Now, when you do this, think of it this way. You want to see this wood grain. So you want to be very careful that you're cutting it the correct way, because if you just willy-nilly just cut it on a diagonal, it could be the opposite way and it's not going to fit on this card base. So look at your card. You're going to want to cut it from the top left to the bottom right. Top left to the bottom right. And we're going to do that same cutting, putting our top left and the bottom right in that groove. Okay, now this is where I think sometimes it catches on the designer paper, so I lay it flat, I go up and back down again. And there we go. As you see, it's kind of mimicking the way we cut the card. actually it showed up here a little better. Okay, so now we have these two triangles. And sometimes the angle I'm at, it ends up getting a little bit of a little paper hair on there. So I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit. Okay, so now I have these two triangles. These are just nail blocks, sanding blocks for fingernails. And you can get those in bulk on Amazon. Okay, so there we go. So we are going to put this one that has which would have been the right side, we're going to actually adhere that to a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic white for our inside. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put a little glue on here. I'm going to put that in the corner here of my card with a little bit of wiggle room. I'm going to keep I can see here I've got a little bit here that needs to be moved a little bit, so I want to move it before the glue really adheres there. So here we go. You always have to be at a weird angle when you're making a video. I know, you're thinking I make that excuse every time, but it is really true. It is really true. Okay, now I can look on the back and I can see that I don't have any hanging off, so I've done a nice adhering there. So that, I'm gonna get my bone folder out here and just kind of smooth that over. I see I need a little glue down here in this corner. There we go. I'm gonna get my craft mat out there, silicone craft mat, just in case I have a little glue on there. Just do a little bit of sanding there. See a couple little frays there. There we go. Now that is going to be the inside of our card. So we are going to have to put the outside on. Now let's just play around here and get a nice white 1/8 inch border around our top, bottom, and right side. And you'll see that this is going to close right at that cut. So that means we're not going to try to put a border on the middle. So whenever you go to put this on, you're going to take this piece of wood and you're going to have it right against the diagonal on your card, but it'll naturally create yourself the border on the card, on the actual card base. So I'm going to show you that, because this I would say to do first, because then you can, you know, manipulate a little bit of the inside if you're off a little bit, just because we're not a machine. So take this one, like I said, and you're going to put it flush with the cut of the actual card base, and then just get that there. And like I said, it's not going to be absolutely perfect because we're not absolutely perfect. Okay. And I can see here, I'm off a little bit here. So it's just a matter of getting it. You want to get that border on the bottom and the right. Now I'm going to tell you a little trick here. If you have to, you can do a little bit of trimming, but I would rather have whoop. Here we go. You have to kind of manipulate it just a little bit, but it does fit on there. There you go. Okay. And then now we can put, I can see I have some glue here. Let me get my adhesive remover and get that glue off. I've got glue all over my fingers. I do like using glue, but that is one of the downfalls of using glue, is you get it all over your fingers. And it's just really sticking to everything tonight. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna put this one in the inside, and we're gonna kind of match it up to the designer series paper on the outside, just keeping a nice border. Like I said, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because when we put this cool image on the front, it's going to take away if you're off a little bit there, and that just happens because we're humans. So here we go. You see how that opens up there that way? Isn't that cool? And if you want to, you can trim this down, which I actually think I might, because I have just a little, I just have a scotch here, but I was more concerned about keeping the border on my card. So there we go. Now we're going to decorate the front here. Now this is really what I think is so cool, is I have the pieces, but I just realized I don't know where my pebbles are. Where are my pebbles? Where's my pebbles? Oh, well, you can see the pebbles. That's okay. So we're gonna put our card here. And what I did on the outside is I just used my stitched rectangles. I will tell you, I went to make this card, and here's some stuff on my desk. I made this card and I added this Stitch So Sweetly dies, and then realized, oh, that doesn't look too masculine. So I ended up changing it out and using the just the stitched rectangles. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that onto the basic gray. And I just put that onto the basic gray. And that's just the next layering down. And I'll have the measurements for those actual rectangles that I use there. And I'm gonna mimic that same portrait look on here, okay? And so we might as well just go ahead and put some glue. Being careful not to get any glue on the other part, because it's not going to stay. You don't want it to glue to the actual card. There you go. You just get a nice equal border around. Okay, and let's see if I got lucky. A little glue there. Okay, this is from before. All right, so it doesn't matter if you get a little glue over there, because we're going to cover it up on the inside with another stitched rectangle, just because I don't like seeing that raw edge. But if you don't mind that raw edge, that's fine. You don't have to put anything there, because what you could do is you could put it here. But I don't like that raw edge, so I just go ahead and cover that edge with another one on the back, and see, nice and pretty. Okay, so what I decided to do on the outside is put this shovel and this rake here. So what I did is I already die cut them, and then I just will do some simple coloring using my blends. I love my blends. Oh, I need a crumb cake, light crumb cake. Okay, so I did the handles of my rake here with, looks like I used dark crumb cake actually, so let me grab that. That's easy enough to fix, huh? So I'm just going to do that in view. I apologize if I ever go out of frame, because sometimes you get in the zone when you're making these videos. Well, pretty much every time you're making a video, you're in the zone, and I sometimes forget to look up. So on my rake handle, I used the dark crumb cake, and then I did the little piece which I would think was wood here on my shovel. Okay. And my inside has a little shovel, and I think I made my little shovel have wood here too. So while we've got the crumb cake out, we may as well. Can you hear Jim down here? I wonder what he's watching. He's actually watching some accidents in the snow actually on the news. Okay, so let's do a little bit of light smoky slate for our shovel, for our spade. Yeah, we should expect that in Pittsburgh, sometimes at Easter, there's snow. And so it was really terrible, that accident that was near Harrisburg. I think that's what he's watching on the news. Okay, so we're gonna color in that, and we're gonna color in our little shovel here too, with the light smoky slate. There we go. And then we just want to add a little bit of color here to our garden tools. So we are going to put just a little bit of real red on there, a little red, real red on our rake, and then we're going to make this part of our shovel have a pop of red. There we go. Okie dokie. So we've got those pieces done. Okay, so what we're gonna do is pull our craft. Actually, we're gonna leave that silicone craft mat out because that keeps us from getting glue on our work surface. And so I'm gonna get it all glued up here and ready for action. Okay, on the outside, I just use the shovel. I placed my shovel, and then I put my rake a little bit over the shovel. There we go. And then I added some grass. So it has these really great tufts of grass that's in the dies. So we'll just get a little bit of grass there. And I'm going to use my little tweezers here to put some grass here. Some grass there. And I think I did another tuft of a big piece of there. I figured that this stamp set would just really be, because the garden tools, it just kind of goes with any stamp set that has flowers on it. So I think it's a great, great addition to all the other stamp sets we have. And I just went ahead and put "Thanks for helping me grow" on the inside. And you'll notice that this rectangle on the inside is actually smaller than the outside. And I kind of did that because I wanted the inside to fit a little better here with the little garden shovel there. So we're gonna pop that one right in the middle there. And then we're gonna pop some grass on there. Little piece of grass there. And you know, in my head, I'm trying to remember where my little pebbles are. I just saw, oh, I think I know where my pebbles are. I think they're sitting right over here. They are. Right here are my pebbles. Okay, so we're gonna just take your pick tool, and we're going to, oh, I'm gonna put one more piece of grass with my little shovel here. Okay, so there. And you'll notice here too, to the man who can do anything, that's awesome. And that comes in that stamp set right here in the Home and Garden, To the Man Who Can Do Anything. You can pop that in there, or you can just leave that blank there so you have more room to write. But on the outside, we want to put some of those adorable pebbles. These pebbles are carrying over to the Pebbles enamel shades. They really do add to this card. So I'm going to just grab I'm gonna actually use my Take Your Pick tool for this because it's perfect for lifting up. And I'm gonna put one of these bigger ones. Oh, I think I just broke my pebble. I did, but I'll put it up in this little container and use it again. When you're using these, really pull back your acetate to get under there, okay? So I'm gonna put a pebble there, and then I'm gonna go to another gray one. I'm gonna do a small one, and like I said, pull back your acetate, then get under it. Perfect. Okay, put one here, and then I wanna put a gray one. And I think I'll just do this little gray one here. Pull back the acetate so that I get underneath the pebble, and put a pebble right, kind of want it to look like it's just willy-nilly there. Okay, so isn't that so cute? And then always put your embellishments back in their little container because they'll get pushed off there. So you've got those pebbles, enamel shapes, stitched rectangle, and all we did was take our card base and cut from the top left to the bottom right and cut that triangle off. So we have this triangle to use for another project. And believe me, I have a lot of these triangles. And so then we open up, and what I did was I did my stitched rectangle and I just covered it up on the back. Now to get this one, we just took a piece of designer series paper and we cut it the same way from the top left down to the bottom right. And then this one really was almost perfect. And you can see, you can't even tell that it's off a little bit because the image that you put on the front of the card will take away, but yet it's really cool because you're thinking that's the front of the card, but you open it this way and then you have that cute sentiment in there and a place to write your message. And like, of course, this is the way I did this one here. Isn't that cute? So I would suggest to you, if you haven't taken a look at this home and garden, just remember it's going to go with your tulips, it's going to go with your daffodils, it's going to go with all your flowery sets there. It's a masculine one. However, my husband wouldn't find a lot of these tools very exciting to use. He would rather not have to use them. But my dad, on the other hand, he loves like doing all that kind of stuff. But you've got all of these dies to cut out all the different tools. And see this shovel and this little garden spade there too? You could use silver foil paper to actually die cut that. I was going to do it on here, but I really wanted to get the red into there. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to text me or call me at 724-323-2296. You can email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can also comment on my YouTube post. Underneath it, you could comment if you have any questions. You could also go over to my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com. You could leave a comment there and I could answer your question. But I really appreciate you taking the time. And here we go, making some masculine cards. Father's Day, you could also very easily put happy birthday dad, happy birthday brother, happy birthday son. You could put happy Mother's Day on here too, because how many women love to garden too? So thanks for buzzing by, friends.